you're here. If you've read my post and in the description in the box, I've been undercover for the past week with local businesses trying to find out what it takes to get a job in this town. I think I may have been found out. I'm not sure. The internet keeps going down. The lights aren't working. I just don't know what to do. But like a good reporter, I'm going to bring this to you. I'm going to let you know these secrets that I found out because, for some people, it's just crazy. How do we know what's going on? How do we know what to do? So this is what I found out so far. If the connection goes down, just stay with me. I'll get back on as soon as I can. So, as I've done some research, it's really complicated because a lot of people come to me wanting to know how do they get a job. They've been, trying and trying to apply for thousands of jobs and can't get anything. But, oh, wait, what's that? Hold on, I hear something. Okay, apparently it wasn't the people found me out. It's I forgot to turn on the light switch. So thank you for joining me today. This is Workforce Live. I'm your host, Eric Grisham, Business Service Representative for Arizona at Work. So, a little dramatics there. But yeah, so what I've done this last week is I reached out and I've checked with businesses and other folks around the area to find out what does it take to get a job in this town. This is so crazy. So this is some of the stuff I found out. And this is not all inclusive, but it's actually working anywhere, whether it's in Cochise County, whether it's in Pima County, whether it's in Georgia. But I found out a big thing people do is they just apply for jobs. They see a title, it looks wonderful, and they say, "Oh, I can do that." Great. So they apply for a position, but unfortunately, they don't meet the qualifications for that position. Um, you know, Several businesses have told me apply to the positions that you meet the minimum qualifications for only. Okay, so all you folks that have these blanket applications out there, just because, you may want to rethink it. Now, caveat on that, for you young folks, 16, 17, even 18, some of these jobs or some of these positions, if you want to work, you got to apply. Unfortunately, it's hard to find a job at 16, 17-year-olds in this county because of insurances, because of child labor laws. There's so many different things out there that hinder this. So keep applying. Uh, but don't be afraid. Fast food is a great way to get the start. It's the best way to get a start, in my opinion. I started it when I was in high school. Uh, and a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't want to do fast food my whole life." Well, nobody's asking you to do it your whole life. You got to start somewhere. You've got to learn a skill. It's so funny when you start asking people, "What is your skill?" I went to school. I've got a degree in this. Okay, well, that's great. What are your skills? A lot of people don't even know about that. So that's what we're going to talk about that in one of our other episodes. But let's move on with this for a little bit. So, uh, one of the key things, especially if you're applying for a job that requires a resume, make sure you tailor your resume every single time you apply. Don't send the same resume to 100 different jobs because 100 different jobs aren't going to have the same requirements. You need to take that time and craft your resume to fit um, what you're applying for. And that's every time. I know it's irritating. I went through the same thing when I transitioned out of the military, but it's something that you have to do. Okay, most of these hiring officials, most of these managers, most of these business owners do not have the time to sit there and read lengthy paragraphs on a resume of all the stuff you did that is irrelevant to what they're looking for. Okay, time and money. Okay, highlight the duties that make you the ideal candidate for the positions you're applying for. Okay, so if you're applying for a customer service or we'll say an administrative assistant, receptionist, or whatnot, even though you may have never particularly worked in that field, but say you worked as a pet groomer. This is one of my favorite references because I've had this so many times. You worked in a kennel or whatever. Take those skills, interacting with customers, customer service, customer relationships. Maybe you had to file reports. Maybe you had to report something to your supervisor about what you did, how you did it. That is all administrative duties that you can highlight and make it look like, or make it out to show the people that you're applying with that you do have some of these skills. Okay, and I know sometimes it's frustrating, but that's why we have folks like Arizona at Work, the workforce specialist here that help with resume writing and skills. Now, granted, if you don't come in and bring us a job posting you're interested in, then all we can do is give you sort of a master resume or a draft. Okay, so many people still do that to this day. Uh, we can write them a resume, we can set it up for them, but yet they never personalize it to the job they're looking for. Okay. Um, One of the biggest things that I've heard from numerous recruiters, hiring managers, and folks is misspellings. Spell check your resume, spell check your work. Misspelling shows a lack of attention to detail and instantly turns a recruiter or a hiring manager off. Proofread your resume, okay? And some of them aren't even that strict. One or two little errors, not as big a deal. But when you got multiple errors in a resume, you're not speaking real well. It shows that you don't take the time to proofread your work. It shows you're not detail oriented. It shows that um, you don't really care. You're not somebody who really gives a crap. You're just doing it to save face and time. Okay, so proofread your resume. Have someone else look at it. And by all means, here's one of the biggest kickers: is don't put on your resume your skill is your detail oriented or meticulous, attention to detail, um, but then you have misspelled words and errors all through the paperwork. So now you just made yourself look like a liar. Okay, it may not be intentional. I know a lot of us have so much on our plate, so much to do, but hey, take the time. Have somebody else to read over it so that way they can catch what you didn't. All right. So then formatting. Formatting. Recruiters, hiring managers, HRs, business owners, normally they have several. Even for one position, they'll have 10, 20, 30, even hundreds of resumes to go through in a day, even applications. Okay. So if your resume is not formatted in an easy to read and review manner, then you're probably not going to get a call. Okay, that's just straight from their mouths, not mine. I'm not making this up. Okay, so keyword usage. Use keywords from the job description. Goes back to that, you know, um, tailoring your resume to fit the position you're applying for. So use keywords from the job description. Um, So if you're applying, so example, if you're applying for an Active Directory role and you only mention the Active Directory under your skills, but not in any of the bullets, you'll probably not get a call. Okay, so when you list your skills um, on your resume, say you put it at the top, or even some people put it at the bottom, which I have no idea why they would do that, because those are the things you want the businesses to see right off the top of the head. So when you put your skills on there, just a rule of thumb, when you put your skills on there, make sure in the bullets below under your work experience, you highlight those skills. Okay? Highlight those skills to show that you have what it takes to fill that position. Okay? Basically, like they used to say when we did our non-commissioned officer evaluation reports, basically our report cards as a non-commissioned officer in the Army, they would say you've got to quantify. So if you put down on there highly motivated, you need to put down in those bullets some examples of how are you highly motivated, how are you detail oriented, how are you a team player. Okay, you need to quantify those skills. So real quick, I just had a comment pop up from my good friends over at the Veterans Business Outreach. They're having problems getting applicants for our open position. They have paid attention to detail. This is an admin position, so this is a must. So basically, if you know anybody out there right now that is detail-oriented, administrative assistant, attention to detail is the biggest thing. Have them send their resume over to me, and I will get it to Margaret and the folks over at the Veterans Business Outreach Center. They need a detail-oriented administrative assistant. So, hey, I want to be posting this afterwards. So, let me know. Let me know who's interested. Pass this around, share. So I've got a whole bunch of jobs here too that I'll be talking about a little bit later on. But thanks, Margaret, for reaching out. We'll definitely get right on that and see if we can find you somebody. All right. So not only keywords. Okay. Ensure that you fill out. This is an application thing. So believe it or not, there's still businesses in this county that still use paper applications, which is awesome. I started my work with paper applications. Went in, filled out the application, did an interview. Next day, I started working. It was great as a teenager. Granted, a lot of things have gone to online, especially you teenagers trying to get a job in one of these restaurants or fast food places. First thing they tell you, go online, go online, go online. I know it is frustrating because half the time, not all these sites are user friendly. Not all of these sites are easy to use. But when you're filling out an application, fill it out completely. Some people don't even provide all the information, and I've actually had people send applications back to me that I've sent to them, and they have bare minimum information. They don't have a phone number, they don't have an email address, and it's like, well, how is this employer supposed to contact you if they don't even know how the heck to contact you? And then people complain that, oh, I've applied at all these places, I never hear anything back. Well, if you don't give them an email, if you don't give them a phone number, of course you're not going to hear back from them. Because they have no way to contact you. Not only that, but you need to put down all the information it asks for. If it's not applicable, just put an NA in there, okay? Just show them that you are dedicated and committed. You're going to take the time and you're going to do what needs to be done um, to get the job, that you're going to be a great fit, okay? So fill the applications out completely, because if you don't, one of the things that shows employers is that you're not taking it serious. You're not detail oriented. Uh, you're not taking this serious, and you're pretty much wasting their time. So they're probably never going to get into contact with you. Oh yeah, they can't contact you because you didn't put nothing down. Okay, so let's get this going again. So now be honest about your work experience. Okay, when sometimes it is a concern when you hop around from job to job without any explanation. Okay, we see a lot of folks, snowbirds, other people that just jump from job to job, here and there, come and go. It doesn't really show a real sign of dedication or commitment on your part. It shows that you're not really down to be a team player or supportive. Um, so when you put down this, especially if you're going to jump around, um, be prepared to give a little information, give a little detail about that. Because we know sometimes things happen, life happens, challenges happen. Okay, however, you got to do it in a professional manner. Okay, one of the things I hear from employers, and it is a showstopper, is when they have someone coming in for an interview, or they're looking at their resume, or they're looking at the application, and maybe they have jumped around job to job. Or they've had a job and then they put down they were fired or let go. And then they ask them, what happened? And the first thing out of the job seeker's mouth is negative, blasts the old employer, talks bad, talks negative, just very unprofessional. Management sucked, or something to the effect like the supervisor screwed me over. And I got it. We all live in this world where nobody has a filter, and that's the cool thing to do. And acting like a lazy bum is awesome, but it's not going to get you anywhere in life. It's not going to get you a job. The last thing an employer wants to hear is you bashing your previous employer. Okay, because that shows them a sign that, oh, wow, if they're this way towards this person, what happens if they get disgruntled? Or what happens is um, sometime down the line, they just have a bad day. Next thing you know, they're bad mouthing, they're talking trash, and, there's a conflict or controversy going on. That is not what they want on their team. That is not what they want to bring in the workplace. So even if you did have a bad experience, even if you did, maybe your management did suck. Maybe y'all, they screwed you over. Uh, Be professional. There's valid reasons for the job. If you've been mistreated, or the management was not very good, or you got screwed over, or you feel you've got screwed over, um, those are all valid reasons. But you can be professional in how you present that to the new employer. Okay. If someone comes in and is super negative or critical on an application or during an interview, the HR or the recruiter, the hiring manager, they will start to assume that you'll be negative about their agency, as well as once you're hired and the honeymoon period is over. Because we all go through that honeymoon period. You get hired on, you're like, oh yeah, great, wonderful, wee, and then all of a sudden, that phase is over after a few months or maybe a year if you're lucky, and then now it's all doom and gloom. So they don't want to hire somebody like that. They want somebody who's positive, who's energetic, and that's why a lot of times, if you can't be respectful while conveying uh, your disagreements with the management, or that your team didn't function well together, um, then you may be overlooked, and somebody with less experience, but who shows maturity and a positive attitude and a can-do attitude, they may get the job over you. That's the way it happens a lot of times. Okay, if you can respectfully, if you can be respectful while conveying that you disagree with management, or that their team did not function well together, then you're showing them that you have a good professional boundaries and a sense of professionalism and doing the right thing. And that will go a long way with employers, with recruiters, with HR directors and stuff. So, don't start bashing everybody. And sometimes one of the problem is we just put too much information. We overshare. I said it before. Veterans are by far the worst. I'm a veteran, so I know, and I've seen veterans. They come in, they give me this resume, and oh my gosh, I had one that was dated back before I was born. Went all the way back there. I mean, that's a big resume, and that's a long time. And even though that's when they served in the military, what they were applying for now was it was irrelevant. Most businesses, most HR, most recruiters, they don't have the time to go back 40 something years for your job history. They need what's relevant, they need what's important, they need it up front. Okay? So I know you're proud of your service, I know you're proud of your job, you're great at it, but draw it back, pull it back a little bit, and put there what is relevant. Don't go all the way back to the birth of Christ. Okay? Now, unless you're applying for a time traveling position, then probably do pretty good. Okay? So even if you talk about being fired, you can do so in a measure with self-reflection and without a lot of excuses, and it goes a long way. It shows maturity, ownership, and responsibility. Okay? So attitude. Attitude is everything. Now, one of the other things that they talked about was a positive attitude comes through even in an application. Capitalizes your name, etc. Sell yourself. Sell yourself. This is you trying to sell yourself to a business. You're the product and the salesperson. The business is looking for a product, someone to fill that vacancy, to make their team bigger, better, and stronger, to be productive and successful. Okay, so you're not going to want to try to sell them a lemon. You're not going to want to try to sell them a square peg for a round hole. You want to sell yourself, and you want to show them through your resume, through your excuse me, through your application, that you are one of the best things since sliced bread. And then that way, it'll get you in the door for the interview. Now, the interview, you want to always dress like you want the job. Okay? Dress for success. Okay? Even if you're going to one of the hotels or motels in the area applying for a housekeeping position, pajamas, fuzzy bunny slippers is not the way to go. Okay? Get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, do your hair, put on something that is professional. Okay, now, not everybody needs to be in a suit and a tie. Not everybody needs to be in slacks and a polo. Okay? Put on something professional that you would maybe go to church in, Or maybe if you're going over to a family get together and you don't want to look like a bum or a slacker, dress for the part. Okay, if you're going to a construction work position, you definitely don't want a suit and tie because then they're going to be like, oh, this is a pretty boy. Now he's not going to work out. He don't want to get his hands dirty. Okay, but you don't want to go in looking like you've been working in the yard all day, sweaty, sweat stains, dirt, mud, whatever. Maybe some jeans and a nice shirt. Okay, polo, button down, something professional. Okay, so when you're in the interview, you want your answers short, direct, and concise statements. Okay, they don't need to know your life story. That comes later if you and your coworkers are talking and y'all want to share. But answer the question. Short, direct, concise statements. And not the negative kind either. Okay? Research the company and positions prior to the interview. I've done many interviews and most of the people have no idea what we do here. They didn't even take the time to look it up. So that just tells us, one, they're not dedicated, they're not committed, and how do you work in an organization when you don't have any general idea of who they are or what they do? I developed a thought, an idea years ago that I want to learn everything I can about the organization that I'm with. If I was in the Army, I learned the jobs of many different MOSs or job skills. So that way I could be self-sufficient to the extent where I didn't have to go in and do everything, or they didn't have to do everything for me, which one, built a relationship, and two, helped me to be more effective. When I became a career counselor, I had learned a whole lot about different jobs in the military or in the Army. And one, that way I could sell it if somebody wanted to change their job. But not only that, but if somebody came to me with a problem, I could say, hey, I may not know exactly how to fix it, but I know where to go and I know what form to use or how to go about doing it. So the more you learn about something, the better off you can sell it and the better off you can present yourself in front of them. Okay? Review your resume prior to the interview. Be able to reference your resume and the experience you highlighted in the resume during your interview. If you just paid somebody to do your resume, or somebody just did it for you as a friend, and you have no idea what it talks about, you're going to look like a fool in the interview if they start asking you stuff based on your resume. Well, it says here that you climbed Mount Everest and saved 500 penguins. I'm not sure if there's penguins on Mount Everest, probably not. But anyway, so, and you're going to sit there and stutter, stammer, and tap dance the whole time. Well, now you just shown them that you don't even have a clue what you wrote down. So are you reliable? Are you dependable? Are you honest? Where's the integrity? Okay? So don't share a lot of excuses for everything, even if they're great excuses. Okay? All you do is showcase yourself as a victim or maybe just avoiding responsibility. So, it goes back to why did you get let go? Why did you quit this job? Why did this happen? Today's society, it seems like everybody wants to blame everybody else. It's everybody else's fault, not theirs. And it's ridiculous. Well, it happens in interviews. That happens on resumes. Now you're looking like you're whining or complaining constantly, and it's everybody else's fault but your own. So you're setting a bad example. Okay? If you have something negative to share or disclose, I highly recommend that you plan ahead how you would like to talk about it. Okay, during an interview. You don't want to go in there and spend hours just slamming and bad mouthing all these people because you didn't agree with them, because they fired you, because they let you go. That is one thing the employer does not want to do. Okay, rather than being put on the spot, you would do much better if you already know how you're going to share it. You had ethical differences with new management policies, rather than new management was terrible and mean to everyone. So you see what I'm saying? You want to take it, you want to twist it to make it look like, not saying that it was all your fault or whatnot, but you also need to do take ownership of anything that might have been your fault. But you want to rehearse this so that way it's a natural flow of, hey, why did you leave here, or why did you get fired here? What happened? Okay, well, we had a disagreement. One of the questions we ask a lot of times in the resume is, give me an example of a time where you had issues or there was controversy between you and a client or a coworker. How did you deal with it? How did you handle it? And we've heard some pretty interesting stories. We don't want to hear about how terrible leadership was and how this, that, and the other. We want to know how you handled the problem. Okay? People tend to just want to run on at the mouth. I don't know if it's because, like me, I have too many kids at home, and between them and my wife, I don't get to say two words. Um, so when I'm out, I talk a lot, if you haven't noticed. So rehearse what you're going to talk about. Share these things. It's the little things and how you present yourself that can really hurt or count against you when you are compared to someone else with little experience but a positive attitude and a team player. Okay, so now these are some old comments that I had a while back. You know, what do businesses look for in a resume? Certifications are a big bonus as well as a clean resume. Um, Applicable experience. Okay, they want to see, they don't, if you're applying for admin and you worked at PetSmart cleaning kennels, they don't really want to know about that. You can put it in there, and that's why we have a thing called a combined resume, where you can put your skills and your work experience and focus more on the skills that you had and that you used rather than just your key work experience. Okay, so think about it. Apply to those jobs that are meant for you, the ones that you qualify for, the ones that you have the skills for, not just because the title looks good. Oh, hey, there's a secretary, I can do that. I've answered the phone before. But then your resume says nothing about it. Okay, or the application says nothing about it. So, um, right now, yes, it is a challenging time with the pandemic, and now is a perfect time for you to upgrade your skills. Time to uh, better yourself, get certifications, get training, change your job field, change your industries. Now is the time to do it with all the craziness going on of the pandemic. However, when you write your resume, you may have to rethink how you do it and how you write it. Once again, you have a basic format resume that has who you are, your skills, um, and then your work experience listed. Or you can do a combined resume where you focus on those skills a little bit more and in detail based on your work experience. And down at the bottom, you can put down what your experience was, where you worked at. I worked PetSmart from this day to this day. I worked Burger King from this day to this day. And you're not going to go as much in detail, but when you do your skills, that's when you're going to really focus on some of that. And we're here at Arizona at Work to help you out with this. It costs nothing to you. Our resources are free. We're here waiting to help out. But like I said, when you come in, at least let us know what you're applying for or what you're interested in applying for, and then we can help you craft that resume. If you just come in and say, I need a resume for work, then we're going to give you that generic basic resume, which could be a master resume, but it's not going to be completely tailored if we don't know. Okay? Um, and that's what a lot of them say, tailor your resume, complete your applications. Um, Come in. We have orientations Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning. We ask you to be here 10 to 15 minutes early to check in at the front desk. Orientations are geared to explain more who we are, what our services are, what all we offer, and to give you that step one packet to get you started. Maybe you need certifications to get a job. Maybe you need to help pay for school, for whatever. We are here to help you with barriers, to overcome barriers to employment, whether it's disabilities. We have our vocational rehabilitation. Maybe you're a youth, low income family, and just struggling. We have the professional youth quest. We have our adult dislocated workers that can help with a lot of this as well on the job training, apprenticeship programs. It is just phenomenal, all the resources we have that we may be able to help you out with. Um, you've got to show by doing your resume, by filling out your application completely, by going to these interviews, by being able to be connected. You know, what they're looking for a lot of times is not just experience. They're looking for a desire and willingness to learn. Okay? If you're not doing this stuff, you're not showing them a desire or willingness to learn or a desire or willingness to be part of a team. Okay? So, you know, how do you get a job in this town? Well, we just went over a whole bunch of stuff. Now, I'm not going to tell you that there's not some bad seeds out there on the business side. Yes, some of these fast food restaurants are horrible at getting back to people. Heck, I've emailed most of them, and most of them still hasn't responded to me. But I'm going to keep my and do my due diligence. I'll go looking for these people. I'll go picking their brains to find out. I know when I did talk to a couple of them, their biggest complaint was, "Hey, we got all these people applying, and then when we try to contact them, one, the number's disconnected, the number doesn't work, they don't have a voicemail set up, they don't answer their emails." So that's on you as the job seeker. Do those things to make sure you're ready. Don't just fill out an application and let it sit there and not follow up and not have a way for them to contact you. And then this is your job. This is your life, your career. So if they contact you, don't start giving them all this stuff. Oh, well, this week's really bad. I've got a nail appointment. Or this week's really bad. I'm going shopping with my mom. Okay, yes, life issues pop up. Unexpected things pop up. Medical emergencies pop up. Yes, I understand that. But when you're putting off a job interview for little things that are mainly for you, then that's being foolish. You've got to start making some of those sacrifices in order to get that job, to be successful. Okay? When you apply for the job, don't expect them to do things on your time and your schedule. Okay? Because most of these recruiters, most of these businesses have a job, they have a business to run, they have other things to do. And if you're not going to be willing to make yourself accessible, then you're wasting their time and they're just going to move on to the next person. That's why a lot of folks don't get the job and someone else does, because you're not making yourself accessible, easily accessible, and on their schedule, not yours. Okay, now I'm not talking about the emergencies that come up and the life issues that come up. Well, we're talking about making yourself available. Okay? And then when you're doing an application, when you're doing a resume, and then, because the resume and the application is what gets you in for the interview. Okay, so you've got to sell yourself to get yourself in the door. Okay, and if you're not taking the time to fill everything out properly, legibly, where it makes sense, and you sell yourself to the point where they say, "Ooh, I want this product. Let's get them in here for an interview." In the interview, you have to show confidence. Don't stutter and stammer, because that means you didn't put any preparation into it and you're not ready. Okay? Be able to define the requirements needed for a position, flexibility, enthusiasm about the job. That's just pretty simple. Okay? Now, some of these businesses, some of these jobs, yes, the hiring process is atrocious, time consuming, jobs on post, contractor jobs. They can be very time consuming, but if you really want it, you put in the time. When I was in the Army, one of the biggest things is soldiers would want to go into enlisted soldiers wanted to be officers, or they wanted to be a recruiter, they wanted to be a drill sergeant. And these packets were crazy. And I come to the conclusion that I think most of the time they do this as a deterrent. Not only are they looking for the most qualified, but they're looking for the folks that are determined, that are eager, that are enthusiastic, and that are willing to put the time and effort, put on the dog and pony show to get the positions. Those are the ones they want. Those are the driven individuals that they want in these positions. They don't want some Joe Schmo that can just put his name on the paper and turn it in, or somebody that can't follow basic instructions. Okay? Now, there's a lot of jobs going on out there. I just put up a post of about 300 and something. I want to say it's about 360 jobs. And this is my own individual job search that I did for this area. Okay, I went through Indeed. I went through all these other sites looking for jobs. And then I've had a lot of people reach out to me, just like Margaret did for the Veteran Business Outreach Center. She reached out and said they're looking for a detail oriented administrative assistant. So I got businesses that reach out to me. So here's just a few that well, let's go through and see what all I found. So these are businesses that have reached out to me. So you've got a companion care provider, landscaping crew member, um, motor pool shop foreman, journeyman plumber, journeyman drywall, journeyman trim carpenter, labor and delivery, transit driver for Huachuca City, special education teacher at Center for Academic Success, uh, Cochise Private Industry Council is looking for a human resource director. We've got JMS Products, manufacturing assistant. Teltopia is looking for pet groomers and kennel attendants. You got business analysts. You got fire department, fire chief, office assistant, paralegal, doggy daycare, labor assistant, um, assistant paralegal, certified nursing assistant, executive admin assistant, property manager, HVAC maintenance technician, pool cleaner, experienced maintenance technician, housekeeper, food service housekeeper, adult protective service field investigator level 2, barber instructor, waiter, waitress, host, hostess, dishwasher, paramedic, OR nurse, PLN, LVN, RN, sales specialist, kennel attendant, doggy daycare again. Wow, I got some repeats. Client service associate, housekeeping, breakfast bar attendant, laundry, front desk, bus drivers, controller, executive assistant, caregivers, multimedia advertising representative, administrative assistant, CNAs again, caregivers, certified and non-certified. So these are just, oh, yep, these are the ones that I've been given. And then of course, I got notified, um, great expect, great expectations early, childhood learning, but great expectations here in Sierra Vista off of Paseo San Luis. They're looking for an infant caregiver to sort of work a part-time permanent position watching infants. Uh, they cover everything from infants all the way to kindergarten, childhood learning, childhood development, um, really good facility organization. So they just contacted me, said they're looking for somebody. Once again, the VBOC Veterans Business Outreach Center is looking for a detail-oriented administrative specialist. These are just the ones that have contacted me personally. Okay, I've got a receptionist working for a tax organization on Fort Huachuca. They're also looking for a tax preparer. So these are just jobs that I've been given directly. Now, on top of that, I have all the jobs that I found that I posted in our job center. If you send me your information, you can give me a shout out here. I'll message you, get your email, and I can send you the Excel spreadsheet that lists all the jobs that I found and how to apply. Um, you know, Via Elegante is getting ready to open up a new facility off Paseo San Luis. No, let me back up. I'm not going to say where it's at because I can't remember the exact address, but they're looking to open up a new facility. They need certified nursing assistants. They need caregivers, certified caregivers, or someone with experience, and they can help you get the certification. So all these changes, and even though it's funny, people say, oh, there's no jobs, I can't find work. That's not true. There is 360 something. That's not even all inclusive that I personally have found. Okay. We've got Kaplan's doctor office is looking for a receptionist. Just got notified of that this morning, waiting on the official details and stuff so I can post it. So there's always jobs going. If you don't follow us on Facebook, check us out on Facebook. You can search for us at Arizona at Work, ATWORK, Arizona at Work dash Southeastern Arizona. Like us on Facebook, follow us. I'm always posting jobs. I post details. I just put a post out there for volunteers. Lori's Place is needing volunteers for some of their stuff. Great organization, nonprofit, so they rely a lot on volunteers as well. But it's like a crisis center, and they're just phenomenal. So any volunteers out there, contact me. I'll let you know how to get in touch with them. Contact me on Facebook. Contact me through uh, Instant Messenger. It's what I do. I'm the face of Arizona at work, is what they said, even though this is a face for radio. But we're also looking at partnering up with Cool FM for some stuff going on. So there's a lot of potentials and there's a lot of possibility out there. Now it's up to you job seekers to get up, get out, and actually do it. Okay? Follow through, apply, fill out the applications, tailor your resumes, answer your phones, provide good contact information. Be honest and upfront, but be positive. Be encouraging. Don't be negative. Don't be a downer. So there's so many different possibilities out there. If you're not sure, send me a message. I've got people that message me all the time asking me about jobs and positions. I cover all of Cochise County businesses. Okay, so if you're a job seeker and you're in McNeil, you're in Ephrata, you're in any of the other outlying little communities, other than in the big metropolis of Sierra Vista, I'm here to help you as well. Okay, I'm always posting jobs. I'm always trying to share information. If there's something you want to hear about, something you want to talk about, something you want to learn more of, shoot me a message. Let me know. If you don't feel comfortable on this or you don't have a Facebook account, send me an email at seazworks@gmail.com. seazworks@gmail.com. So you got my email, you got my Facebook, you got Instant Messenger. Share with me. Give me some feedback as I share this video through the rest of the day. Give me some likes. Give me some information. Let me know what you want to hear more of, what you want to learn more about. If you are out there, there's several school districts right now that are just struggling. They need substitutes. That's just for, a lot of them for just the rest of the school year, since a lot of them are going back here soon. So let me know if you're interested in being a substitute or you just want to know what it takes to be a substitute. I'm here to help you make those connections to find those jobs. Sierra Vista Unified School District is in dire need of bus drivers, and I got it, folks. A lot of you have come into our job center and said you've applied and heard nothing. I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. Okay, so if you've applied, shoot me a message. Let me know so I can check on your status personally. Okay, if you're interested, I've got a job posted out there, or shoot me a message. I'll send you the information. Our children are our future, and once this pandemic dies down to the point where we're all going back to school, all going back to in-person work, school, whatever it may be, they need teachers. They need, whether it's a substitute, whether it's a permanent. I know a lot of the school districts are struggling for teachers overall, even for next year. So I'm trying to work with the counties and the school superintendents throughout the county to see what we can do at Arizona at Work to help out. If you got some input on that one, please share it with me. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Now, I hope that the information I've provided this morning has been beneficial and worthwhile. I really look forward to working with as many of you as I can, especially businesses. Share with local businesses. If you know some businesses, some friends that own a business, folks that are looking for people, tell them to shoot me a message. Contact me on Facebook. Email me at seazworks@gmail.com, or they can call 520-458-9309 and ask for Eric. I am here to help businesses. And in that, I'm also here to help the job seekers on the side, because we have workforce specialists, but we've only got 2 of them right now. And there's a lot more people that are out of work that are looking for work. Then we got those that are out of work that only want to live off unemployment. Well, that day may come and end someday. So, get up, be productive, be ready for the new days. So I'm here. Arizona at Work is here. We have an office here in Sierra Vista. We also have one in Douglas at 515 East 7th Street in Douglas, 2600 East Wilcox Drive in Sierra Vista. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we look forward to working with you. We look forward to hearing from you. And I hope you have a great and wonderful day and the rest of your week.